Hi guys, the Perfect 1010 series is coming to an end with today's video, and I've got another list of Perfect 1010 fragrances. This time we've got budget fragrances, inexpensive fragrances, cheap fragrances that are both niche and designer, and we also have unisex, male and female targeted fragrances, 20 of them here with a bonus. If you're curious to learn about these Perfect 1010 cheapies, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today we're talking about Perfect 1010 cheapies, inexpensive fragrances that you can buy, quality fragrances that are inexpensive. These are recommended by me. I really love these fragrances, and again, they smell expensive, but they're budget, and they're Perfect 1010 fragrances. I'm going to let you know all about them, but a couple things before I get to the list of fragrances. Just wanted to mention that Scent Club kit number 5 is out there and selling, and I've got a big announcement coming tomorrow for Scent Club. But if you haven't picked up your Scent Club kit number 5 yet, there's a link in the info box. Please go pick it up before we run out. I haven't been promoting it much because I was sick for about 3 weeks. But tomorrow I'm going to do an announcement on Scent Club kit number 5 and also do just a channel update video, so stay tuned for that. But it is linked in the info box. And also with the list here, it seems like there's a lot of discontinuations of inexpensive fragrances, so these lists always have to be updated. Now, I've done lists forever with cheapies and things like that, and then a lot of the fragrances in those lists seem to either disappear, get discontinued, run out of stock, and no longer inexpensive or cheap or budget. So when I'm doing these lists, I always double check to make sure the fragrances are still selling inexpensively. So let's go ahead and get started with the first fragrance. Going to the house of LALIQUE, I've got 2 LALIQUE fragrances here. This is ENCRE Noir à la Extrême. Now, I prefer the à la Extrême version over the original ENCRE Noir. I feel like the à la Extrême is a little more complex. This retails for 100 ml around $30. Really great eau de parfum concentration vetiver with incense and cypress and elemi. There's benzoin, sandalwood, patchouli, orris, and bergamot. It's definitely a masculine offering, but I know some ladies or women appreciate these masculine vetiver woody fragrances. And I like the fact that this is so inexpensive, and also kind of reminds me of Chanel's Sycamore. Really, really love this fragrance. And again, as I said, I prefer it over the original. The original seems a bit one-dimensional, not as exciting. This one has some interesting things going on. So ENCRE Noir à la Extrême, I think it's a great cheapie for a vetiver fragrance. We've got this fragrance here. This is Bentley for Men Intense, one of my all-time favorite fragrances, even if it's a cheapie. I absolutely love the way this fragrance smells, and it also dries down pretty heavenly on me. Once again, we've got a male targeted release, but I feel like it's unisex enough for a woman to wear. For me, it reminds me of a couple of niche fragrances that are unisex targeted. So if you're a lady and you like this one, don't, be turned off by wearing it just because it's targeted to men. 100 ml, $35, so it's got incense, leather, benzoin, rum, black pepper, patchouli, woods, cinnamon, cedar, bay leaf. So it's got boozy touches, smoky touches, leathery touches, also ambery touches, and I love the combination. And I also like that kind of greenish bay leaf note running throughout it to give you a bit of a contrast with the warmth or warm notes that are in here. A great scent. It's Bentley for Men Intense. I speak about that one quite frequently. It is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, and it happens to be a cheapie. Absolutely love the smell. So up next, going to the house of 4711 with the ACQUA Colonia Intense series of fragrances. This is Wakening Woods of Scandinavia. I've got 2 fragrances back to back with this collection, and these are fairly inexpensive for 170 ml for 45 bucks. So you can liberally spray this stuff on. It's also eau de cologne intense, so it's not most beastly, fragrances, but as smells go, this is a really fantastic smell. And this is created by Geyser Schoen, and it's a fantastic fragrance with fir, bergamot, pink pepper, coriander. To me, it does feel like you're walking through a green forest. It is, after all, called Wakening Woods of Scandinavia. It smells fantastic, and I like the notes in here and the way the fragrance smells on me. And then a creation by Daphne Bouget. Same house. It's 4711 Aqua Colonia Intense. Sunny seaside of Zanzibar. This is also unisex, just like the last one, and I feel like the last one leans masculine. This one leans on the feminine side, but it's very beachy and fun and coconutty, and it's 170 ml once again for 42 bucks. So once again, it's fairly inexpensive. It reminds me a little bit of Mancera's Holidays with coconut, frangipani, vanilla, watermelon. So there's a bit of a beachy touch, a bit of a marine touch, and also definitely coconutty, suntan lotiony touch. Really smells fantastic. It's very, very cozy. This is 4711 Sunny Seaside of Zanzibar. Next, we're going to the house of Le Monde Gourmand, and this is 000. This is fairly new here in my collection. It's 30 ml for 25 bucks. It's Eau de Parfum concentration, and to me this is clean and crisp and kind of a white musky kind of a fragrance. It's very, it's kind of musky for sure, because there's definitely musky touches in here, but also definitely cozy touches and clean, creamy touches as well, because it has creamy sandalwood along with bergamot. There's Freesia and Waterlily. So it wears very crisp and clean, kind of like you're putting on this white shirt. Very breezy, creamy, and of course floral as well. But the kind of flowers they have in here are not your really intense, like gardenia, tuberose, and a jasmine intensity. There's, water lily, because water lilies have some faint smell and also a bit of a watery quality. So it is a very easy wear fragrance, and it smells fantastic. And I definitely think it's worth the price tag here. You'll smell clean. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of ACQUA's Muschio Bianco with a bit of a floral edge. Really great fragrance. It's Le Monde Gourmand 000. If you haven't tried it, try it. That's also going to be a perfect fragrance to layer with, because it doesn't have a lot of substance. It's kind of linear in that it's musky, clean, and you can use it to enhance or intensify other fragrances for fairly inexpensively. So this fragrance was featured in last week's Perfect 1010 video as a designer, but it's also a budget cheapie designer. It's ZARA's Leather Jardin. I love this fragrance. I bought 2 backup bottles of it because you don't know how reliable it will be that you'll find this fragrance a year from now, because they're just always discontinuing fragrances over at ZARA. For me, it's a leather, rose, and grapefruit, a bit chypre-like, also a bit classic-like, and for 90 ml, about $40. I think it's a great fragrance. And again, the reason I bought 2 backup bottles is because it smells fantastic. It's been one of my favorite ZARA fragrances as of late, and I've been hyping it because it just smells really wonderful. Really love the quality of the ingredients here. Created by Joe Malone for ZARA, and I like the combination of notes. And I feel like there's a bit of galbanum in here, some greenness to give you that kind of a green, bitter, chypre vibe. And it's great. If you haven't sampled this one, do check it out. I think it's a perfect 1010 fragrance. This next fragrance, going to the house of KORRES. This is Black Sugar, this one right here. This is a vanillic fragrance, and it sells for, well, suggested retail is about 55 bucks on their website, and they generally do discounting as high as 40% off. So if it's about 55 bucks, you're looking at about $30-some. But it's currently at FragranceNet for around 30 bucks, so it's definitely worth it. It's brown sugar, vanilla, caramel, violet, lily. So there's a bit of a floral touch here, but for me, it's a sticky, syrupy, creamy vanilla fragrance with the whole brown sugar kind of note that's in here. There's definitely a bit of a granular touch with the fact that it has brown sugar, but in the end, it's a vanilla fragrance that smells great. So it's Black Sugar from KORRES, a wonderful fragrance. Next, a male targeted. That was a unisex targeted, but this next one is the last two, actually, I should say. Even the ZARA was a unisex targeted, but this one is a male targeted release. It's NAUTICA's Voyage for the crisp, most clean fragrance. I think there's a crispness in here because of the apple note, and I feel like I get green apples with this one, although there's apples and green leaves credited for notes here. And it's 100 ml for just under $20. It's 18 bucks. It's a really great price. Perfect 1010 cheapie. So in addition to the apples and the green leaves, we've got lotus flower, mimosa, musk, cedar, oak moss, and amber. It's considered an aquatic but not a marine. You don't get that fishy kind of a sulfuric smell with marine fragrances. it's got lotus flower, and I feel like this is what's contributing to create a aquatic touch here. Lotus flower has a kind of watery kind of a, you know, experience with the notes, so they've thrown it in here to give you that kind of a vibe. But it's a fresh, clean, crisp fragrance, inexpensive. It is on the light side, so you'll probably wear this in the heat of the summer, but it smells fantastic and fruity. So Nautica Voyage, a wonderful 1010, perfect 1010 cheapie. This next one is also a really great cheapie. It's a unisex fragrance from the house of Elisa Ashley. This is simply Musk. Musk from Elisa Ashley is a great powdery musk. 100 ml for about 18 bucks, so really inexpensively. It's also very, very cozy. You can wear it for a bed scent. Features notes of musk, tonka, iris, ylang-ylang, jasmine, bergamot, oak moss, geranium, rose. A lot of great stuff happening in here. Some of the notes do come through. The iris comes in and gives it a, you know, a powdery touch here. Tonka for its kind of bitter almondiness, and then some floral notes to give you that floral boost in this fragrance. But, you know, it's a great fragrance. It's been around forever, and I feel like it's great to wear on its own. It's a great bed scent, or if you need something musky throughout the day, just wear this one, and it smells fantastic. You can also kind of feel how it will, wear as a great layering tool with other fragrances. For example, if you have another musk, you can layer this with another musk, or something floral or irisy. They definitely would, intensify one another when you put them together as a layering duo. So Elisa Ashley Musk is a great musk fragrance, definitely unisex. All right, up next to the Spanish house of Taos. Is it Taos? It's Taos. I always forget the name of this house. It's not two. Taos, 1920, The Origin. A fragrance created by Daphne Bouget, I believe, once again. This is 100 ml for about 26 bucks. And for me, this is kind of like spicy, woody fragrance that kind of is reminiscent of Cartier's Declaration. So if you like that fragrance, you're looking for a very inexpensive alternative for it. This is it for 26 bucks for 100 ml. And it features cedar, cumin, tea, patchouli, cardamom, bergamot, jasmine. It's wonderful. It's a great, great alternative for Cartier's Declaration. It's not identical. It's similar because of the notes that are in here that give you that kind of a vibe. The cardamom, the cumin, the cedar that's in here, those are all present in Cartier's Declaration, and it's wonderful. And I love the bottle, as you can see here. And I believe this is a Daphne Bouget creation, so definitely a wonderful offering for 100 ml for 26. Moving on to the house of Frank Olivier. This is Oud Vanille, this one right here, for kind of a gourmand vanillic rosy oud experience. It's unisex, 100 ml for 28 bucks approximately. These prices are always fluctuating, so just double check to make sure, but still 100 ml for 28 bucks is fairly inexpensive for a fragrance that's really, really quality here. And it features notes of vanilla with woodsy notes, incense, rose, patchouli, caramel, spices, raspberry, musk. For me, it's kind of like a take on something like Lancome's Oud Bouquet, and it's also pretty intense and long-lasting. So if you like that kind of a fragrance, check this out. Long-lasting for 28 bucks, I think it totally deserves to be worn. So it's Oud Vanille from the house of Frank Olivier. Check it out if you don't know it. This next fragrance is from the house of Pré de Provence. This is number 63, I should say. Number 63 is for men, and it also reminds me of something like it's Victor and Rolf's Spice Bomb for men, but a little different. I think it's Spice Bomb for men and some other men's fragrances that were kind of similar to Spice Bomb, and I think it's all rolled into one. So 100 ml for about 40 bucks. It's a woody, spicy fragrance, and it features tobacco, there's amber, there's black and pink pepper here, along with some citruses, some fruity plum, cedar leather, violet leaves. It smells fantastic. It smells great. It smells expensive, and it does remind me of Spice Bomb by Victor and Rolf, but also kind of like Spice Blend by Dior. And I think Hanamori had a kind of a similar fragrance, and I forgot the name of that one. And there were a few other male fragrances that were also kind of similar to Spice Bomb. So if you like that kind of a DNA, definitely check this one out because I feel like it's fairly inexpensive. When I first bought the fragrance, though, it was around 25 bucks. It has gone up to about 40 bucks now, but still, I think it's 100 ml, 40 bucks is totally worth it. So it's Pré de Provence, number 63. And that one also, even though it's male targeted, I think a woman can totally pull it off, especially if they like a spicy tobacco fragrance. We've got a few vanilla fragrances on this list, and the next one is a vanillic fragrance. This is from the house of Yves Rocher. This is Cuir de Nuit here. This is a great, great fragrance. They redid the bottles but the smell is fairly similar to me. Now this one actually suggested retail price is probably the most expensive. It's 100 ml for 85 bucks, but Yves Rocher all the time has sales. They go as low as 50% off, but most of the time it's 40% off or 30% off. So it ends up being all the way down to around 40 something, 50 something. It's definitely a great fragrance with vanilla, there's cacao, there's pink pepper, there's coffee, and in the end it's kind of this kind of gooey, syrupy, you know, lightly chocolatey, a bit coffee like vanilla fragrance that smells fantastic and very cozy to wear. And this is online I'm speaking about because it's Yves Rocher and they have stores all over France. I see them everywhere that I go, but I've never seen a store here in the States. I was told that they have stores in Canada, but they have an online presence in the USA. It's Yves Rocher USA, and that's where you'll check for their sales. But this is a really delicious fragrance, and I absolutely love this one. It's a very cozy vanilla. Cuir de Nuit. Apparently it has a bit of a leathery touch. I don't get much of the leathery touch myself, but Cuir is definitely the leather, so maybe there is definitely some noses that pick up the leather in it. But moving on to a male release, this is Dunhill's Icon. It's a spicy, citrusy, woody fragrance that's actually really great quality fragrance. I think this is a fragrance created by Carlos Benayem. It's a for men, 100 ml for about 35 bucks, so worth it, and one of the most, I should say one of the heaviest bottles for men. It's kind of like a microphone. So it's neroli, bergamot, black pepper, lavender, vetiver, cardamom, juniper, petitgrain. Also reminds me a bit of, I should say, LALIQUE's White. It's a little different, but I like that this has a lot of neroli with the bergamot. There's a lot of spiciness with black pepper, and of course the vetiver, cardamom, and spices all come in to contribute with the bitter greenness of the petitgrain note. It could also remind you a little bit of Terre de Hermes if they had amplified the vetiver in here, but in the end for me it's kind of like a combination of Terre de Hermes, White from Lalique, and a few other fragrances that are similar. But a great scent. It's Icon from Dunhill. If you don't know it, do check it out. I think a woman can totally pull that one off as well. This next one's from the house of Mercedes-Benz. It's Club Black, and even though this is a male release, it's totally unisex for me. And also the price for this one has also increased. I bought it for around the latter parts of the $40 range. It's now gone up to about $60. It's 59 something, but a great cozy vanilla fragrance, really a perfect 10-10 fragrance, featuring notes of vanilla, incense, and bergamot. But for me, it's the gooeyest vanilla, the yummiest vanilla, the syrupiest vanilla, with a little bit of incense smoke thrown in there, and also some light citrusy touches from the bergamot. I love this. It's so good. It's so good, but totally unisex. This is not a men's fragrance. I think this is totally a unisex fragrance. But either way, Mercedes-Benz Club Black, such a great fragrance. Let me know if you're a fan of all these fragrances that I've talked about so far. Maybe some of you are new to my channel and you haven't experienced these fragrances, or you are a fragrance connoisseur. You like to, you know, pick up and buy less expensive fragrances, and you probably know a lot of these fragrances. But maybe you don't know this next one. This is from an Italian house called Tesori di Orient. It's Muschio Bianco. I bought this from Italy at a drugstore for about €8. Here online I saw it for around 20 bucks, but there were some deals online for around $8-9. It's a great white musk fragrance. It's unisex. It features notes of musk, freesia, aldehydes, rose, ylang-ylang, cyclamen, jasmine, cloves, tonka beans, and vanilla. It is so clean and soapy on me. It smells fantastic and clean. It's cozy, but also a bit personal, but still it has some strength to it. It has some loudness, but I really like its soapy qualities, fresh musky qualities. Really love it. This is not animalic musk whatsoever, so it's basically very clean white musk, and absolutely love it. Great find for about €7 at the drugstore. I'm not drugstore even, it was like a grocery store, but I'm glad I picked it up because sometimes I see Amazon selling these fragrances for around 35 bucks, but online, as I said, somewhere between 7 to 20 bucks for this. I think it's totally worth it. So Tesori di Orient Muschio Bianco. If you don't know that one, do check it out. This next one is a feminine targeted release. This is Youp Le Ban, this one right here. 25 bucks for about, I don't think this is a traditional size. It's like under 100 ml, but definitely more than a 50 ml. It's tonka beans, vanilla, amber, musk, sandalwood, aldehydes, jasmine, patchouli, orange blossom. For me, this is a great inexpensive alternative to what we do in Paris' Secret. by the house of A Lab on Fire. If you know that fragrance and you like it, but it's too expensive for you, definitely get this one. It's really, really inexpensive. It doesn't smell as great as what we do in Paris' Secret, but I think it'll do just fine because to me it reminds me of one another. So it's warm, vanillic, ambery, musky, woody, and a bit floral, kind of a gourmand-esque fragrance. So it's Youp Laban. A wonderful fragrance. If you don't know it, check it out. And I've got one more feminine targeted release here from the house of LALIQUE again. This is Perle de LALIQUE, this one right here. I think these are all perfect 10-10 fragrances. Proven smells, great fragrances, and I think they're definitely worth a lot more. But they have so much overstock that these fragrances end up at the discounters for fairly inexpensively. This is for women. I think a man can pull it off. It's about $30 for 100 ml and features notes of Bulgarian rose, bourbon pepper, patchouli, cashmere wood. For me, it's kind of like a take on Portrait of a Lady. If you're a fan of that one, definitely check this one out. I believe it's a dark, very chypre-like rose fragrance, very spicy with patchouli. And it's created by Nathalie Lorson. So it's LALIQUE's Perle LALIQUE. A great perfect 10-10 fragrance. Up next we've got a classic male fragrance that I think is also perfect 10-10. This is Zino Davidoff EDT, Zino Davidoff by Davidoff. I don't know if you guys know this one, but it's about 25 bucks for 125 ml. I think this is not a traditional 100 ml. And for me, it still smells fantastic today, and it reminds me of yesteryear, and I feel like the potency in this one, even though it's been reformulated, it still smells pretty darn good. Geranium, patchouli, amber, sandalwood, lavender, rose, bergamot, and musk. The combination of notes is fantastic. It's old school, it's beastly, it's intense, it's a bit animalic with patchouli and also the aromatics and the amber, the woods, and of course the rosiness. Perfect 10-10 budget cheapie fragrance. It's Zino Davidoff EDT. And then finally another male release, which I think can be unisex unisex can be pulled off by a woman, because there's a unisex fragrance this smells like. This is Rocha Mustache in the EDP, guys, not the EDT. The EDP and the EDT are extremely different. They're so different, night and day difference. This is 36 bucks for 100 ml and features notes of vanilla, pink pepper, benzoin, cedar, rose, mandarin orange. Man, this stuff smells great, and it smells like YSL's Tuxedo. If you don't know that fragrance, compare them, check them out, test them out. If you do know, let me know if you think they remind you of one another. I'm not saying these are identical, but for me, they are, reminding me of one another. But I like this combination of vanilla, spices, resins, and woods and flowers together. And the bottle is pretty nice as well. Just keep in mind, Moustache EDP. This is what that is. Around 100 ml for 36 bucks. Don't go for Moustache EDT. Although go for it, because it's also great smelling, very old school, citrus aromatic fragrance. And anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Perfect 10-10 cheapies for you. Let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. As I was going through to put together this list, I realized some are really difficult to get, and I wanted to include other fragrances, but I couldn't. So these are currently selling and easy to get, and that's why this list is consisting of these fragrances. But let me know what your favorite 10-10 perfect 10-10 cheapies are. Put a comment down so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So I was going to feature a couple of Rammstein fragrances here as a bonus option, but I feel like the Rammstein fragrances kind of sell out and they no longer make them. So I'm leaving that off, and I don't have access to the latest ones, unfortunately, to recommend, so we're leaving those off. But those of you that are in Germany or in the EU, whenever Rammstein launches fragrances, I'm sure you guys can get them, because they're about 100 ml for about 40 euros approximately. But I'm going to recommend this one. Those of you that are in Europe or the EU, you can get them, especially if you're in Italy, because these are sold for about 100 ml, 42 bucks. And it's Tutto Tondo's Riso. Have you guys tried this one yet? Man, it's so good. It's rice, vanilla, musk, and amber. Powdery, fresh contrasted with this kind of milky, kind of nutty powderiness together. Man, it's a great, great fragrance, and I love the way it smells. I have a link to a retailer that does ship to the USA if you guys are interested in taking advantage of this one. For me, I absolutely love it. It's cozy, but also sparkling at the same time, because I find the rice note in fragrances to have a coziness about them, but of course there's this very like sparkling, effervescent contrast of freshness in here, which they're not mentioning citruses, but I feel like there's some citrusy touches in here to give it that kind of sparkling edge and also relaxing, cozy edge together to create kind of like an explosive, you know, unique fragrance. Really love this stuff. I want to explore this house a little further, but Riso, if you guys haven't tried it from Tutto Tondo, please try it if you can. And if you have tried it, let me know what your thoughts are. And again, as I said, this is Italian. You guys will probably find it much easier in Italy. So take advantage. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.